Hello my friends, imagine I have just one lever on my cockpit. This is my hardtail. This is already the previous generation of the Big 9. And here are the things I have removed from my bike. Who will guess this little thing from such a long distance? So this has nothing to do with weight winnies. It has nothing to do with making my bike lighter. Of course, you can see I have removed the dropper post. This is the lever for the dropper post. This is another lever from the handlebars that I have removed. Probably know which one is it. Yes, the bike is very light, but what I have accomplished by removing these things helps me during my cross-country races. Let's see why. And so I have removed the lockout control for my suspension fork. This is the housing and the cable for the dropper post. This is the lever for the dropper post, and yes, you guessed it, this is the clutch or stabilizing thing on your Shimano derailleur. It works so well without it. And of course, the dropper post, and it's not for making the bike lighter, but I know, Danny, how much weight have you saved? Well, quite a lot, I would say. This clutch only weighs 15 grams. Then we have this dropper post cable, that's 65, so 50 grams for the cable only. Then the lever, another 15 grams. And here's the lockout lever for the front suspension fork, 152, so that's quite a lot. And the dropper post I have, this is the DT Swiss D232, is actually one of the lightest in the world. It weighs 369 grams, and it's not that much more than my non-dropper post, because mine is very flexy, so it weighs about 250 grams. Let's see the bike. But Danny, why do you remove things from your bike not thinking about the weight? Some of you don't believe that I don't think about the weight. I don't. First thing that was important for me is to have simple cockpit. And yes, I still convey you the message that having a dropper post is one of the best upgrades for your mountain bike. And I would say 90% of men and women would prefer having dropper post than not having it, at least on a mountain bike. But then I thought that my cross-country full suspension bike will have 2.4 wide tires, will have the dropper post, but my hardtail, let it be very easy, light, of course, lightweight, but very simple. Not having three, but just one lever helps me during my races. My race yesterday went really well. I came in 18th out of about, 200 people. And 6th in my age category, which is 40 to 50 years old. I'm 43, and it went so well. So not having those levers on the handlebars is good for me. And because I put so much pressure into my suspension fork, I don't analyze each track, maybe less, maybe more. I like to have like rock steady fork. It doesn't actually flex much more when I'm going off the saddle when it's locked out, because the lockout, unlike RockShox say on their website, is not rock solid. It does work a little bit, so my fork without it works a little bit more. So it's a little bit like with the Specialized Brain, because if you want to have really solid platform on your brain suspension, you have to put a lot of pressure anyway. So maybe this is not like a brain, but this is just enough for me. Not having dropper post for easier cross-country racing and those marathons. I'm racing in really short marathons, MTB, but marathons in Poland also mean that they are not as technical as cross-country tracks. So yesterday was 30-kilometer marathon, okay? So about 1 hour and 18 minutes. So that's the cross-country track in terms of the length. And then very interesting thing is with the clutch. Let's see. This little thing is the clutch. The clutch on Shimano derailleurs is way worse than on the SRAM derailleurs, because SRAM derailleurs have that bearing clutch which is very smooth. Shimano clutch is effective, yes, but I would always set it with this little thing, with this bolt or screw, to the minimum. Why so? Because it was really harsh on your shifting, especially shifting up the cassette to the lower gears. It would really make the shifting much more tight. For me, unbearable, okay? And because this system, the shifting on the XTR derailleur with the Shimano chain and this XTR cassette is so smooth. I love it, especially with the shifter, which is then opposite to the SRAM, to the bearings. It's to the clutch. It's better than on SRAM. I love this shifting system. I love this drivetrain, but without this, it works even better. The springs are hard enough to keep the chain in place, and also imagine we have less weight right here, which means it will be even more stable. So it works. And finally, what I install on the bike, new tires, and that's for experimenting. I like new things. There will be new pedals in the future. There will be new shoes. I'm riding XTRs. I'm riding S-Fire Shimano shoes. This frame will not take 2.4 tire. I don't think so. This one is the Maxxis Aspen 225, and I'm going to turn to the Vittoria Mescal 235. Let's see how it looks like. And so the Vittoria Mescal as a rear tire and the Vittoria Barzo as a front tire, both 2.35. They fit very well into the frame, and of course the fork is the newest generation, but the previous already generation of the Big 9 takes 235 tires on the wide rim, no problem. As you can see, the Aspen, this is actually a semi-slick. It's very fast, but in the super muddy conditions, it just doesn't ride at all. This is very good for muddy conditions, for wet conditions. The rolling resistance should be higher on this one, of course, but I'm going for fun and better speed in the corners. And in 3 weeks, there comes really technical marathon in the mountains. So this one will be better. Same in the rear. This is the Mescal. I like this line of the tread, these little knobs in the center line, then make a center line that will lower rolling resistance. That's interesting. Which one is actually a faster tire on just as an all-round tire? Maybe even this one. We'll see. And it also looks like the color of the bit is made for this frame. Danny, how much the bike weighs? I'm gonna do it for you. 8.9 kilograms of the bike with around 100 milliliters of the sealant in each tire. Let's see the pounds. There you go, 19.62. I love it. Now for the seat post. Why don't I use a light as possible seat post? This is not a weight weenie, once again, and look at this. If I can flex it like that for 1 inch, no problem. It flexes much more during riding, saving the frame and my butt. And because of this part of the seat post, there has to be a thicker walls of the seat post. It's flattened right here. It flexes beautifully, but it's a little bit, okay, noticeably heavier. Simpler bike, less things to think about. I love it. I can focus on pedaling and it goes better and better. Let me know what you think about all these modifications and see you in the next one.